Hey everybody, Kevin Strite here with Groove Tutorials and now high-level tutorials as well. And in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to show you how you can automate follow-up for courses with Go High Level. Now this video comes out of working with one of my clients who has a 10-day challenge. And in the 10-day challenge, she has multiple categories for each of the days. So the first 4 days fall within one category and so forth. But what she wanted to do was after somebody registers for the course, she wanted to check with them, have they started a category, have they finished the category, and where are they at in the process. So what I've created is 2 workflows that work together so that she can automate this process, meaning she doesn't have to check manually. It's automatically going to be sending these reminders. You'll see how to build that in the next couple of minutes. Before you watch the video, make sure you like and subscribe this channel because I will continue to produce high quality, high level training videos, as well as continue to do Groove tutorials here. All right, enough of that. You came here to learn how to automate follow-up for courses with Go High Level. Let's have a look. I want to show you right in front of you right now, there's a course that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different categories. And then inside of that, it has lessons. Actually, these are probably subcategories, but in any case, these parts of this course, and it's a 10-day challenge. So in working with one of my clients at Client Connect Central, we were trying to figure out how can she allow people to enter the course, and right now she's giving it to people, but when they start purchasing it, what she wants to do is she wants to check their progress. For example, did they complete Foundation of Freedom, the first part, within the 4 days? How are they doing? Are they actually consuming the content? And she wants it to be automated. So we went through several different iterations of what we want to do, and I'm going to show you a workflow that will actually do what she wants to do. In other words, it's going to check, see if they've started the category, see if they've finished it, and based on what they have or haven't done, it's going to send different emails or move on to different parts of the workflow. The first thing I did was create a workflow called add tag when parts are started or completed. So let's take a look at that. And this is a workflow simply for adding tags. And you can see at the top we have Part 1 is started, Part 2 is started, Part 3. The triggers are based on when things are started. Let's just take a look at one of those. So this one here says Part 3 is started. So what you can do is use the trigger called Category Started, and then I named it Part 3 is started. So the product is the course, and the category is Part 3. So this trigger fires when they start Part 3. And if we go back and look at the course, you can see that Part 3 is down here. It's going to give us day 8. So as soon as they start this lesson, it's going to trigger this workflow. So I did a trigger for each one of those. So it's a trigger every time a part is started and every time a part is completed. The next thing I did was an if-then, and this if-then has multiple branches. So essentially, you can see that I named it check which tag is added. And so we did when Part 1 is started. So this is workflow trigger is Part 1 is started. Remember, these triggers up here are based on the actual category of the course starting or completing. So if the workflow trigger is Part 1 is started, we're going to add a tag. If it's Part 2 is started, you can see Part 3, Part 4, and Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4 is completed. So I'm looking for 8 different triggers, and then based on which trigger it finds, if it is Part 1 is started, it adds 10-day Part 1 tag, 10-day Part 2 tag, 3, and 4, and this is completed tag 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is the first piece. So this automation, this workflow is going to always add a tag to the user when they start or finish any part. And by the way, you can do this by lesson. You can also do it when they start or finish a lesson. So there's a lot of ways that you can use this. So that's the first one. This automation I called add tags when parts are started or completed. Now the next one is more complex because it has a lot of if and if then else branches. Let's take a look at the 10-day freedom reminders. This is the second workflow, and it's going to begin by checking whether they have the course tag. So there's an automation that says when they buy the course or when they're added to the course, they get this tag that says they're in the course. So what we do first of all, the first thing we do is wait a day to see if they've started. So our first if-then is check if Part 1 is started. And remember, in the previous workflow, we add the tag when they've started. So we're going to say on this, check if Part 1 is started. One branch is going to we'll say if they have the tag, they've started it. If they don't have the tag, this is the none branch, part 1 is not started. So you can see here I have 2 branches. Part 1 is started, part 1 is not started. If they've already started it, I'm waiting 4 days. The reason for that is it's a 4-day part. So day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. So we're going to give them the 4 days to finish those. But they've started it, so we're good to move on. So we go over. If they've started, we're waiting 4 days, and then we're going to do another if then. But let's go over here to this side where we say if they've not started it yet. So if they've not started, we're going to say send a reminder, send an email or a text, however you're notifying, a WhatsApp message, however you're notifying people, we're going to send them a reminder. This one is just sending an email. After we send that email, we're going to wait 1 day. And once we wait 1 day, we're going to check again to see if it started. If they've started, we're going to go up to this part of the workflow and we're going to wait 4 days and start they're already into part 1 part of this workflow. If they've not started, right here, we're going to send the 2nd day email, and then we're going to wait a day. We're going to do the same thing, and we're just going to repeat that process. So we send an email day 1. If they haven't started, we check it a day later. If they haven't started, we send another email, and you can do that as many days as you want. You can see on every one of these checks, every time we check if part 1, anytime they start, I have this go to in here. And the go to means that once they've started, remember back here at the very beginning, we check to see if they'd started, and once we say yes, they started, we wait 4 days because it's a 4-day part, and then we check if it's completed. If it's not completed, we're going to do something very similar. We're going to send them an email, say, hey, checking on your progress, how you doing? We could even do if-thens to see if they've completed any lessons inside of there. But say if they've not started, we wait 3 more days, we check again if they've not started, and so forth. But see if they've not completed it, we check, we wait, we check if they've completed again. If they've not completed it, we check, we wait, and we have if it is completed. This is where we're going to add a go to, and when you add a go to, you just click save action, and then you click on the spot you want to go to. So we'll go right here. So this says we're going to go this destination. So if part 1 is completed, we're going to check if part 2 is started. So did they finish and just move on, or did they finish part 1 and they started part 2, and then the process just starts all over again? And by building this all out, we will be able to stay up automatically with students who come into this 10-day challenge and help them stay engaged. And all of this is done with a workflow that adds tags and a workflow that checks the tags and waits a certain amount of time so that we can build the entire thing and help our students actually finish a 10-day challenge. Okay, I hope that was helpful. And just a reminder, I will continue to put out Groove tutorials here as well as high-level tutorials. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of those, make sure you like and subscribe. If you'd like to know more about how I can help you with your Go High Level processes, check out businessbuilderssuccess.com and check out clientconnectcentral.com. Let me know how I can help you in the comments, or you can email me at kevinstriteonline.com.